The Galactic Council chamber fell silent as Ambassador Luis stepped forward, his polished shoes clicking against the crystalline floor. Around him, representatives from a dozen species shifted uncomfortably in their specially designed seats. The humans had been part of the council for only 3 standard years, yet they had already disrupted centuries of carefully maintained protocols. The human delegation, began Councillor Vrex, his chitinous plates rattling with barely concealed irritation, has once again violated Section 47 of the Diplomatic Conduct Code. Luis maintained his diplomatic smile, though Ava, standing beside him, could see the tension in his shoulders. She had warned him this was coming. We've received 17 complaints this cycle alone, continued the Vrathian counselor, his multiple eyes blinking in sequence. Your species' behavior toward our female delegates is unprecedented. Unprecedented how? Luis asked carefully. Counselor Mira of the Silenthians rose, her translucent form shimmering. Your males express romantic and physical interest openly. They compliment appearances. They request social engagements unrelated to diplomatic functions. She paused, searching for words. They flirt. A murmur rippled through the chamber. Several delegates retracted into their shells or behind energy shields. Eva watched Luis's diplomatic mask crack slightly. With all due respect, Counselor, human social bonding often includes, we are aware of your mating rituals, Vrex interrupted. That is precisely the problem. No species in council history has ever displayed such aggressive courtship behaviors in professional settings. Your compliments and dinner invitations are causing severe psychological distress among our delegations. Distress? Luis frowned. We were under the impression that cultural exchange included social interaction. The counselor's primary eyes narrowed. 3 Carillion ambassadors requested emergency transfers after what you call casual conversation. The Xinthian delegation installed additional security protocols. Even the Warforged Kragnoth expressed discomfort. Eva stepped forward, her diminutive 5'2" frame dwarfed by every other being in the room. Perhaps there's been a misunderstanding. Human social dynamics. There is no misunderstanding, human Eva, Vrex said, his tone sharp. Your species appears incapable of maintaining professional distance. You sexualize nearly every interaction. You find reproductive appeal in the most unlikely places? Luis bristled. Now wait The council has made a decision, Vrex announced, his voice booming through the chamber. Since humanity cannot control its inappropriate desires, we will demonstrate why such behavior is inadvisable. We are releasing our own specialist in human cultural dynamics. She has studied your species extensively and has volunteered to help you understand proper boundaries. Eva and Luis exchanged glances. Something about Vrex's tone suggested this wasn't going to be a pleasant educational experience. Bring in Ambassador Kira, Vrex commanded. The chamber's far door hissed open. What entered made Luis take an involuntary step backward. She was small, even by human standards, perhaps 5 feet tall. But that's where any resemblance to vulnerability ended. Her skin was a deep, iridescent purple that seemed to absorb light. 4 arms moved with liquid grace, each ending in elegant 3-fingered hands. Her face was distinctly humanoid, large luminous silver eyes, a small nose, and lips that curved in what might have been a smile but felt like a predator's assessment. But it was her aura that struck Luis like a physical force. Every movement radiated calculated danger. Her posture spoke of someone who had never known fear and frequently inspired it. Ambassador Luis. Ambassador Eva. Her voice was melodic, yet carried an undertone that made Luis's survival instincts scream warnings. I am Kira of the Silanthi. I believe we have much to discuss about appropriate boundaries. She glided forward. And Luis realized she wasn't walking, she was floating, her body moving with an otherworldly grace that defied physics. The Silanthi, Eva whispered, her anthropological knowledge clicking into place. The Council's enforcers. They handle species that violate fundamental protocols. Kira's smile widened, revealing teeth that were just slightly too sharp. Very good, Eva. Yes, my people ensure us compliance. We have studied humans for quite some time. Your literature, your entertainment, your biological imperatives. Fascinating species. So driven by reproduction, yet so fragile. She circled Luis slowly, and he fought every instinct to turn and face her. This was a dominance display, and he refused to play along. Your males find strength attractive, yes? Kira asked, her voice honey-sweet. confidence? The ability to overwhelm? That's a generalization, Luis managed, is it? One of her 4 hands trailed across his shoulder, not touching but close enough that he could feel the heat from her skin. Your species produces entire genres of entertainment around powerful females. Yet when faced with actual power, you recoil. Eva watched the display with academic fascination warring with concern for her colleague. Kira was demonstrating something important. Your species, Kira continued, now addressing the entire council, finds appeal in appearance, in perceived availability, in weakness they can protect. But true power? Actual danger? It triggers your prey response, not your mating response. She turned to face Luis directly, floating up until her eyes were level with his despite her smaller stature. Tell me, Ambassador, do you find me attractive? Luis swallowed hard. Objectively, Kira's features were aesthetically pleasing by human standards. The symmetry, the humanoid elements. But every cell in his body was screaming danger. His palms were sweating. His heart raced not with attraction but with the primal urge to flee. You're clearly a formidable individual, he said carefully. Kira laughed, a sound like crystal chimes in a hurricane. That's what I thought. She descended, landing gracefully on the floor. You see, council members, human lust is not as indiscriminate as feared. They respond to perceived safety, to opportunity, to power dynamics that favor them. Present them with true danger and their famous libido vanishes remarkably quickly. Vrex leaned forward. Are you suggesting humans are selective cowards in their attractions? I'm suggesting, Eva interjected, finding her voice, that you've fundamentally misunderstood human social behavior. We're not attracted to danger, we're attracted to life, to vitality, to connection. Ambassador Kira is performing a dominance display specifically designed to trigger fear responses. That's not the same as normal diplomatic interaction. Kira's silver eyes fixed on Eva with newfound interest. Brave for such a small human. You don't fear me? I respect your capabilities, Eva replied calmly. But respect and fear aren't the same thing, and neither should be confused with the casual social bonding that your colleagues have misinterpreted as threat. For a long moment, Kira studied Eva. Then, surprisingly, she bowed, a gesture of respect with all 4 hands pressed together. Perhaps humans are more complex than our report suggested, Kira admitted. Very well. I will remain as cultural liaison. Not to intimidate, but to teach proper context. And perhaps, she glanced at Eva with something approaching genuine curiosity, to learn as well. Vrex's plates rattled in what might have been the Vrathian equivalent of a sigh. The council will take this matter under advisement. Dismissed. As they left the chamber, Luis finally exhaled. That was the most terrifying experience of my diplomatic career. Eva smiled slightly. But effective. They brought in Kira to intimidate us, to show us the difference between harmless flirting and actual predation. Instead, she helped prove our point. Humans don't harass because we're dangerous. We socialize because we're not. Behind them, Kira watched the 2 humans depart, a thoughtful expression on her alien features. Perhaps these humans would be more interesting allies than anticipated. Perhaps they would teach the galaxy something after all.